Hi, I'm Kim Tasso, and today I'd like to share with you an idea from psychology that may help you deal with difficult interactions, whether that's in business relationships or in your personal relationships. It comes from something called TA, which stands for Transactional Analysis, and is sometimes known as the PAC model, which stands for the three characters I have today: the parent. Here it's a bit like a grandma actually, but this is the parent, the adult in a nice red dress, and the child. Okay, so PAC, parent, adult, child. But let's start by thinking a little bit about what is transactional analysis. Well, it was developed by a psychiatrist back in the 1950s, Eric Berne. And you may be aware of books such as Games People Play or I'm Okay, You're Okay. And originally it was developed as a personality and a therapeutic and counselling tool, but it became popular when people realised that it would help them deal with everyday kind of conflict situations, whether in the work or at home. So the core idea around this was that people experience their personalities through a mixture of behaviours, thoughts and feelings. And he suggested that there were kind of three ego states. Both of those ego states, all those ego states have kind of both positive and negative attributes. So let's have a look at the different characters in those different ego states. So let's start with the wrong one. The parent, okay? This response from the parent kind of unconsciously mimics stuff being replayed from what they've seen their carers or caregivers when they were younger doing. So for example, if they learned from a caregiver at a younger age that, you know, shouting when you're frustrated is a good way to act, that's the kind of behavior they'll mimic. Now, they focus on kind of rules and judgments and decisions and counsel and care and punishments. Now, the good parent, it tries to keep people safe, is very calming, is very nurturing and supportive. So on a good day, the parent state is a good, valuable person. But the bad parent, the negative side of the parental role, is a bit controlling, a bit critical, a bit patronising and a bit finger pointing. So the good and bad sides of the parent. Now, interestingly, in the adult, there aren't kind of positive and negatives. It's kind of all good. This is the kind of normal ego state we are when we're being rational and logical and looking at the facts and figures and what's going on around us. You know, they rely on the information and sensory input and facts. There's very little emotion. So it's all good. Reasonable, logical, rational, neither threatened nor threatening sort of person. And then we have the child. And this one is replaying behaviours from when they were little. So the good child, and there are values of the ego state being child, which is quite curious and playful and creative and spontaneous, and we all need to get in touch with our inner child at some times. But the bad child side of things can be rebellious and having tantrums and being difficult and being a bit insecure. So there is a table summarising the good and negative aspects of each of those three ego states, which I hope will show in a moment. So how do parent, adult and child work together? Now let's see how they interact. Now I've got another adult here. So with Berne, he kind of labelled each interaction between people, I've got another adult here, as being a transaction. And transactions happen both at an explicit level, what you see in here, and at an implicit level. So you might have different meanings depending on your non-verbal communication or something else that you're meaning. And some people have unconscious scripts, things they replay again and again. And he also talked about something called strokes, which is that we all need appreciation and recognition from other people. So he talked about positive strokes being the warm fuzzies. We talked about ego stroking people, and he talked about negative strokes as being the cold pricklies. And actually sometimes if people can't work out how to get the positive strokes, they will strive to get the negative strokes as well. Anyway, so in a reciprocal transaction, you know, we've got two adults here. It's calm and reasonable and rational. We have a nice interaction there. However, If one of the adults slips into parental mode, we have a crossed interaction. And what often happens there, if someone goes into parent mode, we often slip out of adult mode into child mode. So we can imagine the interaction between parent and child, whether it's a good child or a bad child, or a good parent or a bad parent, be quite interesting. So it could work the other way around. If you're having an interaction adult to adult and one person goes into child mode, the chances are the other person will go into parent mode. So this is a source of many difficult interactions that we have when people are in different ego states. There's another type, which is complex or covert transactions, but we don't have time to look at those today. So problems in communication occur when people come out of their adult ego state into either parent or child. So think back to a situation you had recently where there was a difficult situation. Were you in adult mode? If you weren't in adult mode, what was it that triggered you to go into either adult or child mode? And thinking back to then, if you'd stayed in adult mode, calm, reasonable, logical, would it have turned out differently? Anyway, that's the end of the session today on parent, adult, child. Hope you found it interesting. Thank you for watching and listening.